That's one part of the roof, and this is the prototype. Nearing completion for the outside.
People see it and they're just shocked.
That's going to be a little skylight piece through there.
A lot of people got a lot of, God blimey, only homeless people live in cardboard boxes.
Still got to work on the door and just properly glue the front part of the roof in place here. That's a bed frame there. That's starting to really come together. It's hard to believe, actually. I still think it's crazy. But you know, there's the only way you can really discover anything new is to either find it by accident or be crazy.
The idea for the cardboard house came about after I purchased a propane freezer. Now, some of the cardboard packaging was honeycomb cardboard. This was a cardboard far different from any cardboard I've experienced before, and it changed my perspective of cardboard. It was this exact sheet. Now that is honeycomb cell cardboard that is about 3/8 of an inch or 10 millimetres. I started to experiment with a bit of cardboard. I realised that if used correctly, cardboard could hold incredibly high weights.
Both these bits of cardboard are holding me.
I wondered what I could do in an extreme form with cardboard. What could I actually achieve?
Well, this is the prototype with the waterproof coating on and a coat of paint. This is your normal waterproof coating, and there's a different brand that seems to sort of puff up. I've started to put insulation inside, and hopefully that's sort of stuck well onto the glue overnight. After that, I'm going to put some normal cardboard over the top. There is the door. And then over here I'm going to be putting in a sink and a range hood and a few other bits and pieces. I've been putting this arcing insulation on, and then I've been gluing on cardboard over the top of it to hide it. Well, I've installed a fair bit of the electrical system. That's a 12-volt fan and the switch for it there. I've got two LED lights here. It's a switch for the lights, that's a switch for the exhaust fan on the range hood. I'm going to be working on plumbing next, and I'm not joking, the plumbing is made out of cardboard. Down here I'm making the sink. I have got a very expensive little coating that can handle boiling water. I've literally boiled a kettle so hard that the kettle is still vibrating as I was pouring the water into this cardboard container. And that's the water tank there. It's got 20 litres of water in it. That's held up by two stools from a cardboard furniture manufacturer. I have also set up a little bench and put some nice little marble contact over all that, so you've got a place to prepare a bit of food. So yeah, I'll show you the range hood now. It's waterproof coating, and that's basically going to sit about there, and then I've got to go and put the blower fan on, which will sit up the top and blow at the back. I also am setting up a table here. There'll be a little hitch here, and it'll swing down and lay it here, and then you'll be able to fold it back up again up against the wall, and that will be on that chain made for hanging pot plants. Okay, we finally have the door mounted. There's a bit of a knot to it. This I've gone and made a little handle in the inside that you can pull across to sort of then get your fingers in, that helps you lose it, and it helps you get a reasonably tight door closed. And this is the table, and I've riveted a hinge to it, so this is basically going to mount up here. The range hood is now done, and I have a bit of stuff to protect the walls from heat, as well as some more waterproof coating to protect it from steam. And yeah, it's my range hood. But the blower is here, mounted in. But I'll go outside and I'll show you a little vent outside. That's a little vent there. Some of the waterproofing underneath that is where it comes out. I've basically made a little bit of cardboard from the blower to the outside of this so that there wasn't steam getting inside the honeycomb cardboard and then making the whole lot go soggy. And that piece there is a big steel washer, and the plug will sit in that steel washer, and the rest of it will be cardboard. The sink and the drainage system for the sink will all be cardboard with coatings on it. Okay, well, I've got the window in. Didn't quite go as planned, but I've got a little fiberglass lip there and then the actual window itself. And I also have put a little rainwater deflector on. I've still got to seal the top of it, but that is there to deflect the rainwater off and onto this beam as opposed to trickle under the door and get on the floor. I think it's got no real issues holding a bit of weight. That's the heater in action. This goes quite well. There's the little hood here so that if any smoke hits that there and is collected there, that actually gets quite warm. But at the end of the day, there is basically no heat at all on the chains here, and as a result, I think because of the links in the chains, there's not a very good heat transfer between them. I'm still working on the sink. There's a side on here to help support the S-bend, which is essentially that piece in there, and that's your outlet pipe there. This here is a remarkable piece of technology when you think about it. Now, most sinks are like this. S-bend. Now what happens is the water will fill up in here, about that level. Yeah, as you pour more water in, some water goes out there, but it only stays to the bottom of the outlet pipe. And you go, oh yeah, Link, but why don't you bugger all that? Just go like this. This would be way easier. My mum knows someone who done exactly that. And all the smells from the rotten food and all that, all those lovely sort of grease trap smells all just float back up. And the smell comes through the sink and stinks your bathroom out. So I had to do something like an S-bend, but I realised that I couldn't get my hands in to an actual S-bend to do the waterproof coating. So how did I do it? I went like so. You put water in, it fills up to here, it empties out the outlet pipe, but then it remains on the bottom of the outlet pipe. And all this is full of water still, which means that there's no smells which get anywhere outside of the upper part of the box, because the smells can't go underwater. So effectively, it's an S-bend. Now inside of that there is essentially one of these, toilet roll. Now that toilet roll allows the water to come out, and the toilet roll ends about there, I think, and then it comes back up and shoots out this pipe. So the water level actually sits level with the bottom of this pipe, effectively creating an S-bend by having this encased in this, which is larger, and then off it shoots. And that is a complete sink. Okay, I've got a 26 amp hour battery here and a charge controller. We're basically running a cooling fan and the exhaust fan on the range hood. We're continuing work on the sink here. I've connected the sink outlet to the actual outlet that goes outside and hooks to the 40mm PVC grey water connection. I've also put an extra couple of supports in because it was shaking side to side a little bit, and I'm now starting to cover the outsides up. Some bad news. I tested this out. It did in fact work, except it wasn't working 100%. I believe it was due to the fact that, let's just say, the S-bend was made out of a pizza kind of box. And I'm probably just going to put a plastic tub in here, and today I have to cover all this over with a bench, and then put a few brackets in place to hold the water tank in and do a little bit of plumbing, and then just continue covering the rest of the areas with cardboard, and essentially we will be finished. And my gosh, I can't see the end of this quick enough because I'm just getting sick of it. The person whose shed I'm hiding this in also wants their shed back. But there you go. It's a miniature portable house. It's got a fan for cooling, Oil heating using canola oil. It's got LED lights. Little portable stove and a range hood. Now all that is powered by a battery in here that's got a charge controller in there as well. And I'll show you the solar panel in a little while. There's a bit of shelving. That there has a water tank inside for the sink. The lighting's not good, but there you go. There's the door. It's a sliding door, but my gosh, I should have done a better job on the door. It's not that great. There's the grey water outlet for the sink. There's the range hood outlet. There's the window with a bit of fiberglass stock on it to help with dissipation of the light. And there is the solar panel. That's all mounted on skids and even has a loop at the front so you can put your hook through it and load it on the back of a tilt tray truck because it is a portable building. Well, there we are, peoples. She's outside. There's a seam there and it opens up a little bit. So I've got to whack some silicone on quick smart before it rains or the weather changes or whatever. Just thought I'd finally show you that it is outside. Alrighty people, well looks like it's met its final resting place. I had it moved over here just a couple of hours ago. I couldn't be happier, to be honest. The only thing that did happen was just a couple of bits of wood come off the corner skid because the truck wasn't perfectly aligned with it when he started to pull it up onto the back of the truck. We have very strong winds that sort of come from this direction, and the tank, main water tank, is going to shield it from that, I think. We get winds that go this way. These trees are going to basically shield it from those winds.
Oh, finally slept in the cardboard house last night. No sand cushioning whatsoever in here. You hear absolutely everything. You hear birds walking on the roof noisily, and even the birds in the trees making noises. You can hear it straight through here. There's really no stopping the sound at all.
Two burners you can see here are acting as room heaters. The brighter one at the front is running on canola oil and the one at the back is running on alcohol. And they keep the chill out of the air. The window is actually made of perspex, but you'll notice there's two bits of fiberglass that are glued onto it. The reason for that is because of the way the glass fibres are layered in the fiberglass, they dissipate the light evenly. A couple of switches here. This switch runs the lights. LED lights here which are wired into the solar system. Here's what's keeping the whole show going. It's a 20 amp 12 volt solar charge controller, a bit overkill for purpose, and a 26 amp hour sealed lead acid battery. And here is a plastic water tank. Now this supplies water for the sink.
Many people currently view cardboard as plastic was viewed in the 1960s, essentially as a rubbish product. But the fact of the matter is, it's just that the potential of cardboard has not been fully realised.
It's hinged against the wall and folds up like so.
And some people today are experimenting with it.
The chain hooks over a screw.
And realising that it could be so much more than it has been previously.
Bring it back down.
People who don't understand it sometimes make cynical remarks that with the first rain it'll be gone. Well, it's faced a 1/4 inch diameter hailstones, it's faced inches of rain for months and months on end.
We're outside the cardboard house in the middle of the night, but I'll take you inside and you can hear how noisy it is when it's raining in the cardboard house. Got wet, the flipping gutter drench me. Ugh. Yeah, it's quite noisy. There's the lights on in there. What do we got? There we go. Alright. See the water coming off the guttering here. There we go. There's my edge of my door. But that's the guttering there, slightly higher up, just a little bit higher. But it's working as it should. And there's your beam there, that's your steel one that has got the loop hooked onto. And if you notice, all the grass is starting to grow pretty well there. Quite interesting, it sort of sounds a bit like a tin roof, but not quite. How did she hold up? It actually got hail about 1/6 of an inch in size. I always knew this door was a bad design. What I realised was you basically need to have a porch and then have the door inside the porch so it doesn't cop much water. The whole flipping roof ends up coming down to this little curve here and flowed straight down, straight into the top of the blasted door. But there's no such thing as a prototype without some trials and tribulations. I've had relatively few if I just got to run around with a silicone gun and I've got to replace the door.
Some people may question if this cardboard house isn't essentially living in a cardboard box, much the same as some homeless people do. When you look at a house, before any services are connected, it is essentially just a giant box. I sometimes sleep in a cardboard house on the weekends just for a bit of change of scenery. I never really feel claustrophobic in it, and I have suffered from claustrophobia previously. But the cardboard house doesn't make me feel claustrophobic. If you've ever been in a caravan, it's no worse than that, it's actually roomier. As you could imagine, the cardboard house has a number of differences from a regular building. One of the most notable differences is the weight. The total weight of the cardboard in the building is probably not much more than 5 kilos, if that. I think the cardboard house would have fantastic applications where it needed to be airdropped because of its light weight, especially if it came in a flat pack form. Another idea I had for the cardboard house was a cheap house for somebody who needed temporary housing, whether they were rather elderly in years and weren't likely to need a house for a great amount of time, but their existing house was no longer suitable to live in. The other option was, in a disposable world that we live in today, you could have a house where it'd only last 3 years and then you could buy a different one with a different design. If you were worried about the smell of a dog living in the house or cigarette smoke in a house, or that the decor or building itself you didn't like anymore, I don't think it'd be terribly unrealistic if these were only a few $1,000s each and built to last for 3 years, that you could get a different one every 3 years. And then you could buy a different one with a different design of a minimal cost, and it could go away to be recycled.